So the time is finally here, and this is our full review of the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. And if you want to know more about the Exynos 2100, we do have another video where we specifically only talk about the performance of the Exynos 2100 in comparison with its Exynos 990 and also the Snapdragon 865. Unfortunately, we do not have a phone with a Snapdragon 888 chipset as of now, but that's all we have as of now at this point in time. But anyway, that aside, in this review, we are going to split it in 6 different aspects, just like any other smartphone reviews. And, well, let's get started. Now, the first aspect that I want to talk about on this phone right here is obviously going to be the design, because the Galaxy S21 series has one of the most distinct looks of a smartphone ever. It's beautiful, and the specific phantom black color that we have here is just, again, it's sexy. It is not a word that I use to describe smartphones a lot, but I'll use it this time for this phone. And again, this matte finish here, I think Samsung spent a good few minutes during their S21 Unpacked event to only talk about the phantom black color, and I can see why. Well, this matte finish here is very different in comparison with the Note 20 and also the S20 FE. So from what I can tell you is that this matte finish here is a lot finer, to the point where even though you can see fingerprints on it, you can just wipe it off. It's that easy, and the fingerprints do not stick on this phone at all, and I really like that. And of course, the camera bump. I think I have talked about this way too many times. It's a really new look that it might look like it melts into the frame of the phone, but actually it's not. Some of the teardown videos actually confirm that, where you can take out the entire back piece including the camera cutout without even touching the frame itself, which again is a nice touch if you want to service this phone if anything gets broken. And after talking about the camera cutouts, of course, now we have to move on to the cameras themselves. So for the Galaxy S21 Ultra, we have a total of 4 different cameras this time around. So you have the usual wide angle, ultra wide angle, and also double telephoto lens, one at 3 times optical zoom, another one at 10 times optical zoom. And then there's also another laser autofocus module here, so you can expect really fast and snappy focus out of this phone. So I don't want to get much into specs, so here are some pictures that I took. Unfortunately, it's during the MCO season, also known as Movement Control Order, where we can't go out that much, but well, here are a few pictures of flowers and plants and whatnot. What I do like about this new camera setup right now is that the 10 times optical zoom is a lot sharper than before, and by just looking at this shot, it's really sharp, all of the details are still there. Well, it does look a bit over sharpened, but I still am impressed by the quality of it. And another new feature that Samsung added is its ability to automatically switch into ultra wide angle camera and also use its autofocus. Yes, the new ultra wide angle camera on the Galaxy S21 Ultra has autofocus, and it switched into macro mode. I did this with a few shots and I'm just really impressed. The macro shots out of this camera right here is amazing, and since it can capture all videos in 4K 60 FPS, I tried that as well. And from the looks of it, I am really impressed by close-up videos that are in 4K resolution, yet it is sharp, and I'm just really happy with the camera capability of the Galaxy S21 Ultra. I think that's something that we have to explore further as well, because since we are in MCO right now, we can't really take that many pictures with beautiful sceneries and whatnot. And we'll definitely revisit this in a later date. Now, to view all of those beautiful images and videos that you've taken, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra comes equipped with the Dynamic AMOLED 2X screen right here, but it actually has been upgraded from the S20 series. So now it can go up to 1440p resolution at 120Hz refresh rate as well. And it also has that dynamic refresh rate where it switches between 10Hz all the way up to 120Hz, and that is to save battery depending on what you're viewing. So for example, if you're just reading text, you're not scrolling anything, then the refresh rate will drop all the way to 10Hz to save some battery life. And Samsung also claims that this display right here can cover a really wide color gamut. So that's what we did as well, because we do have a colorimeter with us right now. So from our test using the natural color profile, It covers at about 98.88% of sRGB color gamut with a delta E of 0.08. But when we switch over to the vivid color profile, which a lot of people will say that it looks a lot more saturated than the natural color profile, well, there's a reason for that, because in vivid color profile, it goes all the way up to 100% sRGB color gamut coverage, and it also covers 99.76% of DCI-P3 color space with a delta E of 0.11. And from this test right here, we know that the color accuracy of this screen is just amazing. And we also know why that the vivid color profile looks a lot more saturated, because it is technically operating in DCI-P3 color mode, and that is best if you want to watch videos, because those colors are just gonna make things look a lot better. But with such high resolution and refresh rate, how is it gonna affect battery life? Well, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra still comes with a 5000 mAh battery, just like its predecessor, the Galaxy S20 Ultra. And from what we have tested, in 4 different scenarios, so we also tested the battery life using PCMark in 1440p resolution at 120Hz, 60Hz, and then 1080p at 120Hz and also 60Hz. From what we found out though, the resolution doesn't really affect the battery life that much, but when you switch between 60 to 120Hz, the battery life gets affected by a lot. But then again, I'm still not gonna worry about the battery life, because the 5000 mAh battery is still gonna last me the whole day without any issues. But when it comes to the charging times though, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra only supports up to 25 watts of wired charging. So from what we have tested using the 65 watts Ugreen GAN charger that we have here actually, it charges from 15 to 100% in about 75 minutes, which is surprisingly fast in comparison with other higher wattage chargers, but doesn't have this level of efficiency. And now comes the specs. Well, we're not going to talk much about it here, but the version of the Galaxy S21 Ultra that we have here is running the Exynos 2100 chipset with 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, because we here in Malaysia, we do not have the 128 gigs version, but that's a story for another time. And what I want to talk about here is the removal of the micro SD card slot. Well, I know it is frustrating for a lot of people, but for me personally, I think it's kind of justified, even though it's really not convenient for a lot of people right now, because the internal storage speed, the UFS 3.1 NAND flash chips inside the Galaxy S21 Ultra, is just much faster than a micro SD card can perform. So with that speed discrepancy, a lot of apps won't even allow you to use the micro SD card for storage, because the bitrate is just way too high for it to handle. For example, if you're gonna record, let's just say using Filmic Pro 4K 60fps at its highest quality, then the micro SD card wouldn't handle it, and it forces you to record in internal memory instead. So while it is inconvenient, I do see a reason why they're going to remove it maybe in the future phones as well. And another thing that I want to talk about here is actually the fingerprint reader on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. It is actually much bigger than before, but the speed though, I do feel like it's a bit faster, but it's not really that fast. But the bigger scanning area does provide a much better reliability and consistency to know that it actually scanned my fingers and it unlocks, because I don't have to be like 100% precision tapping to unlock my fingers. You get what I mean? Now in terms of software, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra uses the One UI 3.1, which is technically newer than what we have found on the Galaxy S20 and also the Note 20 series. But then again, the changes are quite minimal, and mostly it's just new features added on top, because this new phone of course comes with new hardware, hence the new features as well. And the one thing that I want to highlight is of course the S Pen support. Now I know that I have talked about it during our first impressions, but what I want to talk about here is actually its S Pen's backwards compatibility. So if you have a really old S Pen, for example, what I have here is actually the Galaxy Note 8. It's a bit bunged up in terms of condition, but well, here's the S Pen. And yet the Galaxy S21 Ultra actually supports this S Pen as well. Well, I'm just kind of impressed on how far back in terms of compatibility that Samsung actually includes, I guess. Because if you imagine this, Linus did a video and then his Galaxy Note 9's S Pen worked, obviously. And since I have a Galaxy Note 8 with me, and it's still working by the way, and I just took out the S Pen and then tried it on the S21 Ultra and it works. It's just amazing. But unfortunately though, the Galaxy S21 Ultra does not support BLE yet. So if you have a newer S Pen for the Note 20 series that supports the Bluetooth, A gestures and whatever, it is not compatible with the Galaxy S21 Ultra yet. What Samsung did during the keynote is that they also announced the S Pen alongside the S Pen Pro. So the S Pen Pro is what provides the Bluetooth support, but Samsung claims that pen, the S Pen Pro, is coming at a later date. So we'll have to see how things plan out for that instead. And then there are also a few new features, for example the dual mic feature that they claim to be working with the Galaxy Buds Pro, but unfortunately we still don't have the Galaxy Buds Pro with us right now, so we can't test that. And then there's also UWB, which I also do not have anything that is compatible with UWB as of now. But those are the things that if we ever get a chance to review those SmartX Pro or the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro, then we will definitely test out those features as well. So in conclusion, what do I think about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra? It's kind of difficult to wrap my head around it because just like the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra's review that we've done last year, we said that, well, it is expensive, but there's the price that we have to pay if we want to be at the cutting edge of technology, that everything is just jam-packed into a phone. So I think that also applies to the Galaxy S21 Ultra. So if you want the best of a smartphone right now, then yeah, all of the features are also packed into the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Oh, and another thing that we didn't get to try out is Wi-Fi 6E. Yeah, we do not have a router that supports that standard as of now, but maybe in the future when we ever get a Wi-Fi 6E router, then we're gonna test the speed of that using this phone as well. And yeah, I think that's the only conclusion that I can come up with. There's just nothing wrong about this phone. There's actually a lot right about this phone. It's sexy, plenty powerful, and also a really sleek new design, beautiful screen, high refresh rate and high resolution of course, and of course the camera quality is also amazing. And if you want to know more about the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra's performance in terms of gaming, you can check out some of the videos around me right now, including the comparison with the Exynos 2100. And I think that's it. We will definitely make more videos about this phone in particular in the future because there are just a lot of features that we didn't get to test out in this video as of now. We'll see you in the next video.